Smile or tune in.
What you know about black? The forum is the format. It's MAZ and Tomcat. Who cares who came before that? You should trust me, it's official. Don't just take the flow for granted. We discuss important issues, plus promoting local talent. We three hosts that make the topics flow. Click the link and watch the show. Listen while you're driving home, but don't forget to watch the road. Folks from different walks of life. Gangsters, politicians, single mothers, or musicians. It's important that we listen.
Nothing, we really didn't gain nothing. We lost through integration, because we used to have our, like here in Detroit, we had our own, like Paradise Valley.
Yeah.
We had Hastings Street. We had our own black, what's the town out there in Tulsa?
Wall Street.
Yeah, we had our own black Wall Street. And when they integrated us, like what he was saying, they took all of that away. They ran that freeway, Chrysler Freeway through there, and knocked out all of our black businesses.
Yeah.
We had our own thing. We had hospitals. We had some banks. You know, we had all stores. You know, we had a lot going on. And but that's just an example of Detroit. But it happened in all the cities.
Right.
So now, if as you notice, what's happening is that through gentrification, which how they slide in real subtle on you like a snake or something. You know.
Yeah.
And you ain't paying attention to that snake, but he's still crawling towards you, and you're like, it's just a snake. And all of a sudden, you know, now you've been bitten and you're about to die off. And that's exactly what gentrification is trying to do. Look at our neighborhoods. Look at Highland Park, for instance. Look at Brightwood. Look at the East Side.
All day.
You know?
All day, yeah.
That ain't how I came up.
No.
All of that was beautiful. That was like Southfield, Birmingham, Bloomfield. We had the beautiful lawns. Everything was clean. We could go in our alleys. We could play ball in our alleys all day long. You know, and not be nasty from it.
Right.
And even the garbage. You wouldn't even walk through the alley and and have the smell of the garbage, because people put their cans on top. You know, you didn't see all these trash bags just laying out there. You didn't see all these tires and bottles and all this waste. So we had a lot of pride. That's why when we came out in the 60s with the Black Power, you know, and Black Pride movement, guys like H. Rap Brown, he was another member to go along with the revolutionaries like the Black Panther Party, Stokely Carmichael, all these guys, man, they would come here and talk, you know, and this is how we started coming together in unity. Man, we used to call each other soul brothers. You know, now we just say brothers. Just like now, it's one term that I could not stand to hear, that we have also allowed to come into our psyche. Every time we describe somebody, we got to call a black guy. You know, that black guy. What is a black guy? That was a brother when I was coming up. It still is a brother to me. Right. But we take on these people's personalities. You know, we amalgamate into their system, you know, and we started talking like them. Guys, they even call women guys now. When you go in a restaurant, I'm with my lady friend or whoever. Can I help you guys? No, you can't help us guys. You can help the lady and this guy. See, words is powerful. They mean a lot to me. The origin of words. Guys are always male. You look it up. It's defined as male. It ain't defined as no women, you know. But what we do, I've seen a lot of black folks do the same thing, you know. So I say what we're doing, we are the black, white woman and man, because that's what gave us our education.
There you go.
So that's the only way we know how to act, unless we take control of our own mind and get into our history of who we were before slavery. And just start thinking in terms of, okay, I know this is where I got my education system at, you know, but do I have to keep always repeating after them? Everything they come out with new, you know, we start acting like it, you know? So it's all about uplifting and empowering, you know, our men and our women.
All right, before we touch on some of that black history and some of that early, you know what I'm saying, us being the first man and creator, you know, all of this, how do you recommend, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, you generation ahead of us, you know, y'all raised us, how do we touch this younger generation with some of this knowledge, some of this history, man, that we missing? Because you know what they caught up on nowadays. How do we show them how important that tradition and that heritage is, man, for them coming up? How can we make it relevant to them?
The same way that I'm doing now, talking to y'all. You just got to talk to them and you got to study.
Okay.
But study, like the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. I'm just using that quote. So if you ain't studying, what you gonna teach them?
Can't teach them nothing.
The man can't teach what the man don't know.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay?
That's right.
So y'all got to get into that history of who you were, who you are, and you got to, because see, they're not gonna do it in school for us. Y'all know that.
Not at
they're
all.
not gonna teach our children that.
No.
Because they hold agenda. Their whole agenda is to keep their foot on your neck.
Yeah, they want to talk about George Washington, no Carver.
So whenever you got time to talk to your babies, you should have some type of black books around, or authors, books by black authors, you know, that you can point them to.
Yeah.
And show them what. See, nobody is no greater than the source of their information.
Right on. Show them.
Okay?
That's right.
That's deep. I like that.
Because all of that preceded you before you were born. It preceded me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my mentors, first of all, I'm always giving honor, praise to my daddy and mama for being my first mentors. I don't place nobody above them, but the Most High. Ain't never been nobody, no man on the planet that I'm gonna worship more than my own daddy, Joe Baker, and my mama, Ruth. Okay, get that straight. So y'all know where I'm coming from when I say that.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Right
Because
on.
that's who brought me into this world and nurtured me and raised me and gave life to me. When I first came into this world, I didn't know nothing. I didn't talk. Ain't nobody put no Bible in my hand. I didn't know nothing about religion. The first person that taught me anything was who? My mom.
That's right. That's right.
The first meal that I got on this earth was from who? My mom. When I came in this world, all I was doing was crying, and you all too, looking for a titty to suck on. Okay? Now I say titty.
Why
not? Because y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm talking about from a nurturing aspect.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay?
Right on.
That's what I was looking for.
Right.
I wasn't looking for Allah. I wasn't looking for Jehovah. I wasn't looking for Jesus. I wasn't looking for Muhammad.
You looking for a titty?
I looking for a breath so I could get some nourishment in my body.
Copy that.
And then when my mama fed me, what I did, shut up. Because I was what? Happy, satisfied.
Yeah.
That was my first teacher. That was all of our first teacher.
Uncle Stan, I got a question.
Go
So,
ahead.
all right, so we had a guest on here. His name was Roger, like old school cat, real cool. Shout out to Roger.
Raj.
Raj.
So he laid it out like his whole life, good and bad, and I thought it was refreshing that, he brought up some of the things that he, went through. He had to do some things. It wasn't always the prettiest, you know what I mean? But like we not always good people. You understand? So just lightly, you know what I mean? Ain't got to divulge, going crazy, but like just the stent, the time away. What did you learn from it? You ain't gotta, whatever you wanna, speak on.
What you go about there? What you trying to say? You trying to say, ask me if I did time or whatever?
Yes, sir.
So
We do our research, man. What you say? You said we got to study. We studied you.
Yeah, I did spend a year.
Okay.
I did spend a year.
It was only, just a year. Okay.
Yeah.
In Detroit House Corrections.
All right.
When I was like 19 for being a bad boy.
Right on.
Okay.
It's one thing about I learned, but see, we was going back and forth to jail anyway for fighting all the time. Fighting with the police. I got jumped on at the arena. Some guys had jumped on a friend of ours. And then we came up there and we got jumped by them because they had our numbers. So we started fighting them. And the guy, he hit me with a stick. He dropped the stick. I picked up the stick and I wore it butt out.
Rabbit got the gun.
Okay. But that was an experience to let me know that, and I was hot-tempered, I was hot-tempered, to calm down, because once you inside, you in there with guys just like you and just as dangerous as you. Excuse me, you got to be walking, always looking over your shoulder. And when you go in there in that cell with a man that you don't know, You better not be sleeping face down with your booty up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that.
So would you say that was a turning point?
That was a big turning point because I said, there's no way I'm going to give these, I ain't going to say they name, the white people, the rest of my life behind bars or any more time out of my life behind bars, period.
Mm-hmm.
So that would, I don't know if y'all know, my uncle has a very strong resume. So when I say turning point, tell him how you turned it around. Tell him all the good that you did.
Well, I was like I was saying before. When I went back to school, let me reflect back, and I got my GED. I still always wanted to do something and be somebody important, really, to my mother, my father. And, you know, so I got a job working for the Internal Revenue Service. No more education than a GED. Worked my way up in there. It was a special program that they had going on, and excuse me a minute here.
Take time.
And what I did, I just went down there to the government and applied for it, and I was one of the few that qualified. It was about 7 or 8 of us that qualified for this program. They just wanted to see if they could take young black men or women off the streets with, you know, no education or no higher learning education, and see if they put them in this pilot program to see how they would fit. You know, we were experiment, and all of us made it through really good. So I worked my way up in there and became a supervisor in 2 different areas, you know, and the hierarchy positions that I could have attained had I stayed there. I could have went as high as being like a director or assistant director, because I was just on that ride. I was going up that ladder. And well, I wound up resigning from there for monetary reasons, because I had a lot of little money saved up, and I was married at the time, and I wanted to go into business, you know, and so I took the money down, you know, to invest with this guy, but the business didn't last like I thought it would. So I said, well, I got to do something. I got to go back to work, and my position was still open. So when I reapplied for it, the president then, I think, was Carter, and he had put a freeze on hiring, and then Reagan got in, and he continued to freeze right on outside employment. And actually, I was on the best qualified list to come back to my position. So I wound up going over to Lewis College of Business, and I knew a lady, a friend of mine. She worked over there, and she was getting ready to quit because she just wanted to do something differently, and she just happened to recommend me to the president of the college when I was in there, you know. And about a month later, when she left, they called me. So I was always in the right position at the right time. And like I would tell people, when you want to do something, you got to know how to use this, and in a professional way. You know, you can't always be talking street language and lingo, you know, and acting like, you know, y'all just coming out the club or something. You know, you got to go in there and, you know, have your little shirt and your tie like Daddy told me. You know, look presentable, because you the one they want what they got.
Exactly.
So you got to let them know that you got a skill that they can use, and that you know how to run your mouth, and you ain't afraid to tackle anything. So I started working at Lewis College of Business, you know, for a couple of years, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. And that was the only black college in the state at the time. And then they had a big layoff, and that's when I went down and applied for the job with civil service as a correction officer. And I said, I'll do this a couple of years before Lewis called me back, or I go back to the IRS, right? So I got in there and I found, you know, my way, and said, hey, look, I know the culture of the brothers that's locked up. I know the men because I'm from the street.
Right on.
Let me just piggyback a little bit, go back a little bit. Being in gang activity myself, and the fact that I had went and locked up for a year myself, that was the experience that I needed to be able to do the job, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I say, I know the culture of the men, I know their behavior because I'm from that set.
Right on. You can relate better to.
But I knew that I could get in there and counsel with them, the ones that you know that's coming home, that will be coming back home, that want to do something, you know, pro-positive with their life, you know, and that's what I did. I had the opportunity to talk to a lot of men, and even right now, guys still see me on the street, or they'll call me, they'll hit me on Facebook, and that's my reward, you know. I don't look for nothing else but the fact that I was able to help some of these young brothers not to go back. You know what I'm saying? And they would thank me, you know. And I said, okay, you know, I'll holler at you. I'll see you sometime around city when I get back up there. So that's always been my calling. It's almost like daddy, mom used to say, boy, you should have been a preacher. You know, and I'm the type of person, I could have been what I wanted to be. I could put in my mind to be in that.
Absolutely.
But, you know, this is still what I'm called to do, be a motivational person, type person, you know.
Mentor.
Yeah, mentor, because I can relate to where everybody came from, and I can help them that listen on the path to where they're going. Because like they say, you don't get to be 71 and be no damn fool.
enough.
You know what I'm saying? But I learned all of that from my parents. See,
most people,
I don't take no shine away from my mom and daddy. I'll tell anybody that.
Most people to you, as far as like the guys, the men you'd have met in prison and whatnot, like when you was counseling, most men want better, or most people want to kind of just do what they've been accustomed to doing?
Well, I tell you, the percentages of guys that want to really do better is a lot higher than the criminal justice give them, you know, credit for. Because when they come to us, especially when they come to this melanin, you know, the first thing they want to do, they like they negative energy vampires. You know what I'm saying? They just want to suck all of your positivities out, you know. And there's a lot of guys that they try to take up courses in there to better themselves and prepare themselves, you know, and a lot of times, you know, they get discouraged. And that's where conscious people, and I call it conscious, which means you're aware, conscious people like myself that have been there, done that, will talk to them and say, hey, man, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. I'm going to see what kind of program that I can find for you. You know, even guys that came out, a lot of guys are truck drivers now.
Yeah.
Because I talked to them in there and told them, I said, hey, man, you know, they giving out free truck drivers or CDLs through the state of Michigan. If you've been a prisoner, you ain't even got to pay. You know, we got one of our boys doing it right now in the family. J-Bay.
J-Bay, surely.
Doing good.
Doing real good.
Doing good. You know, and a lot of them, they doing that, but you're going to always have that criminal-minded element. You're going to always have hustlers.
Yeah.
Right on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've been a hustler all their life.
Yeah.
Like my brother Carl, who was also an excellent role model for me. But he was a hustler all his life. He was in and out of penitentiary, you know, 3 or 4 times. And then, you know, that helped me also looking at how he led his life and what he could have been.
Yeah.
You know, because the boy had a heart of gold too, you know, but he was very smart. He was into what they call urban planning. You know, what urban planning is, setting up cities and infrastructures and stuff. I said, damn, dog, you're deep, ain't you? And he had got this, they had this associate from Spring Arbor College. You know, so you do have some guys, but some people just got that target on their back. They got that monkey on their back that they just can't get it off. But like I say, I would say a good 70 to 80% of them guys, yeah, they want to come out and do different than what got them caught up to go in there.
So that's a good segue. I wanted I really wanted you to look at that camera. So right now there's a guy out there who wants to do better for Ken because he feels like he has that target on the back. I'm a black man in a white America. What would Stanley Baker say to him to make sure that he knows that he can do things better?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, son. First of all, it all starts with you. Everything starts up here with a thought, right? Everything starts with a thought. These don't move. These ain't moving. This ain't moving without the thought hitting the brain first.
That's right.
So all I want you to do is think about how important you are as a man, period, and to your family, if you got children, to your wife, your sisters and brothers, think about that somebody loves you and wants to see you do well. That all you got to do is believe in yourself, have pride, especially as a black man, because everybody wants to take our joy and our thunder away from us all the time.
Right on.
Okay? Everybody wants to give up, kick us to the curb. But what you do is that you apply yourself, okay? And you apply yourself to that point where you educate yourself and you keep that positive energy flowing and always be encouraged, you know? But never believe, never doubt yourself that you can make it. Never doubt that, because you can make it if you try.
Sure enough.
You know? And just don't let anybody steal your joy.
Amen.
Want what you want and go for it, because ain't nobody really coming to save you, brother. You save yourself. You have a higher self and you have a lower self. You can keep on operating in that lower self and you'll stay incarcerated in your mind. You don't have to be in the prison.
Right.
But you'll be incarcerated in your mind. You'll be locking your own self up.
Right on.
Okay?
Right on. Hey,
but your higher self, that's where all your good thoughts and your good energy come from, your determination. And make sure you be self-determined. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, man. You always, man. One thing I always appreciate about you and everybody in the family, man. You always had you know, everybody from Detroit, man. But that 8 Mile pride, man. 8 Mile deep, man. The history is deep, man. Talk about some of the positive, some of the, you know what I'm saying, some of the positive experiences you had coming up on 8 Mile and why y'all so close knit, man. And y'all just kept that love going all these years.
Oh, I love 8 Mile Road. Everybody know that.
They know now.
I used to walk through the joint, you know, when the guys was claiming they was from different sects, you know, in the city.
Yeah.
You know, 8 Mile. I had little other words that I won't say
right on.
On the camera to go along with 8 Mile MF. Y'all know what's good.
we cuss on this show, man. 8 Mile motherfuckers, just so he ain't got to do it. Just he got to follow us. 8 Mile motherfuckers.
Might be some younger ladies and stuff over here watching.
They heard worse.
Anyway, y'all still know her. Anyway, okay.
All right, but say all that. Hey, 8 Mile motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I heard it here first. Platform.
Hey, I can't use the. Can I just say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Do it.
The reason why I ain't gonna say that word is that word came from slavery, and the way it originated was that the slave master had the young boys having sex with their mothers,
and then
made the mother have sex, and so they call it a mother sucker.
That's a terrible note.
On that terrifying note.
You can edit that out if you want to.